changes. So the idea that the rifle is always going to go right here, close to the center line of my sternum, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So we kind of have to see what it is that we need to accomplish in whatever position, and still be able to watch our impacts downrange regardless of caliber. Okay, I'm not saying it to be tough, but you don't need to shoot a 6mm with a 4-point break to watch what's going on downrange. You can do it with a 308 with no muzzle device. You can do it with 300 Win Mag, no muzzle device. Is it harder? Do you have to be in a better position? Yes. Would I use one of those in a match? No, I wouldn't. Okay, that's a game. So I'm gonna game that. Go. Prototype. Special. Okay, get to it. Actually found helps me to mitigate any lateral motion while still maintaining nice grip and stability of the rifle. Okay. Oh, I'm also wearing, it's 70 degrees here, it's cold, so I'm not taking the shirt off. I'm wearing the tightest one that I can so you can see what's happening, but this is a big deal right here. Okay, when we were in prone, when I'm in positional, this arm's gonna drop. So just feel right here. Feel where your collarbone goes. Feel how the pocket changes. It's not the same. Sorry, it's just not. Two different positions of your arm. Okay, that's number one. So it isn't gonna sit in the same spot. Close, not exactly the same. Barricade position, about sternum height, not quite as high as the standard PRS barricade, but we get lots of obstacles that are about this height. I set the rifle down into the bag like this. Now, it's about the same for me vertically, but it stabilizes the lateral movement quite good. Balanced, normally I wouldn't run with the bipod on it, but whatever, it's for educational purposes. So, getting that rifle set is critical. I'm not really talking about that today. We're talking about is where does it sit in my shoulder. So getting on this rifle, what I'm gonna do with my weak side is I'm draping it straight over the top of this barricade. I'm kind of letting it support my body weight by kind of stretching out the lat, right, and rear delt. And then you definitely want to keep your knees lightly locked, because if you got your knees bent, then what's going to happen is you're losing muscle. So lightly locked. But what I don't want to be, I'm not leaning and applying pressure forward, because the more you're engaged with the rifle, typically your breathing, your heartbeat, whatever, if your muscles are tired, you're going to start making the rifle move when the rifle does nothing on its own. But I'm not an advocate of just free recoiling the rifle, because then it makes it much more difficult. Okay, then you do need to be shooting a girl cartridge with a giant break. Then it's no problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do though is still get my body as square as possible. Now the fact that I'm reaching my right arm further forward than my left means I'm not exactly square. Okay, so that also means that I can't get the rifle here. It is going to go towards the inside of this delt, but what you can do is kind of round your shoulder over a little bit, and then the thing that is actually more important than body square, okay, it's the surface that the rifle is making contact with needs to be square to the target. It's physics. 19+ pound rifle, 140 grain bullet, 200-pound plus human. Okay? A grain is 1/7,000th of a pound, which puts me just over 1.4 million grains. And I was a PR major. PR, public speaking. I know not to say and okay, but you know, I'm old. So I was in college a long time ago. In fact, I think I graduated college before some of you were even born. Anyway, on the rifle, coming into the rifle with my shoulder, but what I try to do is not have my feet too far back to where I have to lean. I'm kind of going to get my feet almost square under me so that I'm not leaning, and then just get on the rifle. And then, again, I come straight down, as straight as I can. Again, yes, there is some head tilt. There has to be. I try to minimize it, but there's going to be head tilt. Now, if I notice that I'm shaking, then what I start to do is back off the rifle. Now, I'm going to exaggerate this movement a little bit. But really, all it is if I'm pressed into the rifle where it's compressing the muscle, my pec and a little bit of the delt, what I'm going to do is just start to back off so it's not compressing it anymore, and it may go from being slightly compressed to just barely touching my shirt. But this is a huge difference between this and prone. Notice prone, I'd be completely square. This elbow would be like this, which changes the position of the rifle in the shoulder pocket down. So now you can feel it doesn't have the same relationship. So they're really, for me, there's not nearly as much of a pocket at all, which can become a problem if the rifle slips. So what I want to make sure that happens is just that this part that's making contact with the rifle is square to the target. My whole body, it's just a few degrees difference. My body does not need to be square. I mean, theoretically, that would be awesome because it's easier to get your natural point of aim if everything always stays the same. But it's not necessary that my body be, say, doesn't have enough force for all the actual physics majors to overcome my inertia. Now, if my shoulders relax, yes, it can push the shoulder back. It is not going to move my body. Also, it's not going to move half of my body. So I don't need my entire body square. That would be ideal. And again, I'm not advocating that you blade off on purpose. What I'm saying is this position requires me to be slightly bladed. Now, my feet are as square as possible. And like I said, the part of my body that is contacting back with the rifle, I try to get square. Again, get on the rifle, you're on target. If I'm stable, go ahead and cycle, break the shot. Now, when you're dry firing, if you notice that that reticle moved at all, like at all, even a millimeter on the target when you broke the trigger, something wasn't right. We'll talk about that later. Okay? Again, if you notice that you're wobbling a little bit, maybe because you're breathing heavy, maybe because this is one of the last shots of the stage and you've been moving around a lot, then what I'm really going to do is just back off the pressure that I have on the rifle. Again, it's not going to free recoil. It's still in the shoulder pocket. It's just not quite as much pressure. And we're talking about like really just ounces here. And once I can get the reticle to hold inside the target, break the shot. Again, what I'm looking for during the dry fire, and why I think dry fire can be extremely effective, it's if you are paying attention to what's going on during the dry fire rifle. If you notice that reticle moves at all, like even the slightest little wiggle, you need to work on your position. That's the fine tuning for that. And then if you're doing that, when you go to the range and do your actual live fire, you'll probably notice that it works really well. But definitely if you're dry firing and you get on that target and that reticle moves at all on you while you're dry firing, I can guarantee you that the gun's gonna move quite a bit when you actually have a round in the chamber and the bullet goes down range.